Good evening. 22 years ago, I sat in these same chairs, and there were 46 of us. We fit in the front two rows of the auditorium. I was, however, informed earlier this evening that that was back when the qualifications were a 3.5 GPA. So students, congratulations, 3.8, absolutely incredible, something that you should certainly be proud of. You've worked hard to get to this point, and you should be proud of your achievements. To the parents, the teachers, and the administrators that are here, thank you for the support, the encouragement, and the countless hours that you've invested to help these students succeed. My name's Ben Carnes, and while I was born in Ohio, I've spent most of my life here as a Shamrock. My family moved to Westfield the summer before 7th grade. I graduated in '02. Like many of the coaches here, I played football at Wabash College and then returned to Westfield, where I taught and coached for 15 years. Today, I run my own company in this community. My wife works at central office. My kids go to school here. I'm surrounded by three family members who are teachers here. I love this city, I love this school, and I love the people here. So when I was asked to speak tonight, my answer was simple, of course. Because being a Shamrock is about being a part of something that's bigger. I'm proud to call Westfield home. I've been asked to share three things with you all tonight. Number one, to reflect on my time here at Westfield. Number two, to offer some advice. And three, any encouragement. As I sat down to try and figure out what I was going to say, there were really four things that stood out to me, reflecting back on my time at Westfield. The first was the small size. I was at Westfield for what I would kind of call the tail end of us being a small school. I went to middle school in the building that you all know as the east side of the middle school. The offices and cafeterias, you know, it didn't exist over there. There was a road that ran between the two. And the west side was the old high school. Homecoming week, we had drive your tractor to school day. Not like the riding mowers you have in Viking Meadows, like the combines that are about the size of 3 or 4 cars. My freshman year in football, we were 2A. And by the time my senior year rolled around, we were 4A, playing in a brand new conference. And I'll be honest, we got our butts kicked. Our football team was the exact same size we were when we were 2A, but now instead of competing against Tiptons and Sheridans, schools like Noblesville were hanging 50 points on us. I will say it warms my heart to know that that tradition has ended. And now, it seems like every time I come back to this building, something new has been built or some renovation has gone on. And there will probably be some time in the future, seniors, when you come back. And I don't know exactly what this building will look like, or even if we'll maybe have 2 high schools. And life is a lot like that. It's constantly evolving. And sometimes it'll surprise you in ways that you never expected. So my first piece of advice is to expect change and learn to be flexible. Things will happen that you don't plan for. And sometimes the best way forward will be to adapt and find a way to grow with it. Flexibility will help you not only survive, but thrive in whatever situation you find yourself. But no matter how much this place changes or how far you go, you'll always be connected at Westfield. Once a Shamrock, always a Shamrock isn't just a slogan that an administrator put on a t-shirt. No, it means so much more than that. So whether you're off pursuing your passions, exploring the world, or starting new adventures, remember that you're always part of this community. The second thing that stands out to me when I reflect back on my time at Westfield were the memories that I made with friends and classmates. I'll never forget the pride we felt as a student section when little old Westfield won our very first Spirit Award. It didn't matter to us whether our basketball team was beating up on little schools or down by 30 to a school twice our size. We showed up, we supported our school, and we were proud of where we came from. I remember waiting with anticipation for the other team to shoot an air ball from the stands so we could pull out a 12-foot banner. Meeting before games to paint our bodies, long car rides to go watch our buddies play in Lafayette, bonfires, ski trips, just late night runs to Steak and Shake. Those memories and those moments built friendships that have stood the test of time. Friendships that have endured the happiness of marriages and the birth of children, and also that have dealt with the pain that comes in cancer diagnoses and the loss of loved ones and everything in between. To this day, I have friends that I sat in this room with that if I called them right now and said, hey, I need your help, they would simply say, I'm on my way. So seniors, I hope you cherish the time that you have with each other from now until June, because I promise it's gonna go fast. I hope you prioritize your friendships, not just this year, but even in the years to come. As a 40-year-old looking back on some of those relationships that I built in high school, one of the best pieces of advice that I ever received was about 20 years ago. It was from a friend that worked at Emerose Sporting Goods. He said, make sure you schedule a trip every year with friends that you want to keep that friendship with, because otherwise time will slip away and it won't happen. I'll be honest, at 22, I didn't really listen to him because at that point I could do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. But as my friends and I got married, had kids, took on more responsibilities at work, and filled our calendars with different events, those friendships that I cherished so much became more difficult. To be honest, it takes work. And I would encourage you to prioritize the relationships that matter the most to you, not just over the next 8 months, but also for the years to come. The third thing that I reflect on and think about from my time here at Westfield was some of my own personal achievements. I'm not going to list them off for you this evening because if we're honest, most of you really don't care. But how you feel about my accomplishments doesn't diminish the blood, sweat, and tears that I poured into some things that I was passionate about. Seniors, I hope you have your own hopes and dreams. I hope you have the courage to chase those down and even risk failure and coming up short. Over the next 8 months, whatever activities, extracurriculars, academics, or other interests that you have, I hope that you pour into them everything that you have. Don't apologize for having big dreams or for wanting to achieve great things. And don't let critics who aren't willing to risk failure steal your joy or make you doubt your abilities. Pursue your goals with passion and do it the right way. Don't compromise who you are or how you treat people. The truth is, no one in here probably has any idea what career or season records I set as a high school football player. My achievements don't really mean a whole lot to you. Besides, by this point, they've all been passed by guys that were much more athletic than me that went on to do big things in college or get drafted to play Major League Baseball. But that also doesn't mean that those things aren't meaningful to me. And it certainly doesn't take away from the work that I put in during my time as a student athlete. Just as you work toward your own goals, remember that success isn't just about what you achieve, but about who you become along the way. I hope 20 years from now that you look back on what you do over the next 8 months and you're proud. One record that I do want to tell you about is still on the side of the baseball press box. Down at the bottom, little stat, career fielding percentage. And I share this with you just to set the stage. So I was a pretty decent high school baseball player. I was good, not great. And that record tells a little story of some of the consistency that I had on the baseball diamond. But there's a lot more to that story, a much more humbling part of that story that brings me to my fourth and final reflection. You see, as I reflect back on my time at Westfield, perhaps now what I'm most grateful for are lessons that I learned through struggles, failures, and times that I came up short. What the record books don't reveal is that my sophomore year, I thought I was pretty hot stuff. I had started that previous fall on the varsity football team, and the morning of our inaugural game, when that was a brand new baseball diamond, our starting catcher sliced open his finger in gym class, so I got the start. Finally, my chance to show everybody all the skill that I had. Except on that day, I couldn't throw the ball back to the pitcher. It was like something out of a movie. Something came unplugged between my head and my hand. Imagine a skill that you mastered at the age of 5 or 6 that just vanishes. It was easily the most humiliating thing that I ever experienced on an athletic field. I had no idea what was going on, and even less of an idea of how to fix it. I'll never forget going home that night to hop on my dial-up internet, trying to furiously figure out what just happened and how do I make sure this never happens again. I can tell you, in the middle of that inaugural game, I didn't enjoy making a fool of myself. I certainly wasn't grateful for it at the time. But what was the most humiliating moment of my athletic career ignited a passion in me to learn everything that I could possibly learn about the mind and body during performance. 25 years ago, unbeknownst to me at the time, that failure on the baseball diamond would end up changing the trajectory of my future in a big way. What I learned about confidence, muscle memory, and how to take back control of your mind and body wasn't just something that helped me through my junior and senior year at Westfield, but it was something that I leaned on heavily when I started coaching athletes on the field and teaching students in the classroom. They're life skills that anyone can benefit from. Before long, word spread about some of the skills and tools that we were teaching our athletes to control their mind and body under pressure. We started a podcast, wrote a book. I eventually started my own company and now work with individuals, travel teams, high schools and colleges, and 96 different schools across 14 different states. And I can tell you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that standing on that diamond as a sophomore in high school, I would have never imagined that anything good could possibly come from that embarrassment. In the moment, struggles are difficult. And what's more, I know a lot of you sitting out here are dealing with your own struggles far beyond just being embarrassed on a baseball diamond. But if I could give you one final piece of advice, it would be this: embrace your struggles. When you face failure or things fall apart, don't run from it. Lean into it. Learn from it. Let it shape you and guide you towards something greater. Because often it's not our toughest moments that allow us to discover what we're truly in our toughest moments that we're able to discover what we're truly capable of. Remember, your struggles don't define you. How you respond to them does. Seniors, congratulations on where you're at today, and best of luck wherever tomorrow may take you. Have the courage to go be great. Thank you, and God bless.